Hello friends, welcome into a quick review of Halloween Kills. I just saw the movie last night, and as a big fan of horror and slashers in particular, as well as a longtime player of Dead by Daylight, which of course does feature the Shape, Michael Myers, I thought I would give my 2 cents on the film and offer my review, because I have really strong opinions about this. Now, I am not going to waste your time, I'm not going to pad this out, and I'm also not going to be showing any actual footage from the film or even from the trailer because I don't want my channel to get a strike. I enjoy posting videos and I would hate to take a step closer to my channel's termination. I know how funny these studios are about clearly transformative content, so we're just not even going to risk it. Now, let's start with the good, because I'm going to go on and give you a brief spoiler here. The bad outweighs the good. However, there is good to be found in this film, so let's lead with that. I like to be positive. So, what was good about Halloween Kills? Firstly, the gore was pretty amazing. Just like the Halloween reboot in 2018, or I guess sequel to a movie also called Halloween. makes a ton of sense. We have 3 movies just called Halloween now in the same franchise. Love it. But just like the 2018 version, the gore was really good here. There was some excellent gore. If you are one of those people who, when you're watching a horror film that is, one of the main things you're watching for is you want to try to pick out what James A. Janisse is going to give the golden chainsaw on the Dead Meat channel. You know, what's the best kill? What's the kill that makes the whole theater go, oh shit? That's there. There's some really good kills here, and I think that there were also some that weren't just excessively gory, but they were solid kills. By the way, we're going to break into some minor spoilers here, and then later on we'll get into some major ones. But for the time being, Michael, minor spoiler here, he escapes the burning house and he kills a lot of firefighters. And you get some kind of fun kills there. You get some that none of them are too graphic, but they're all pretty meaty kills. Like, you kind of feel the kills, and it's really, really well done. You know, there's only so many ways that Michael can stab somebody with a knife, but the film tries to work around that and tries to come up with some new ways for Michael to kill people. You even get almost a Mountain and the Viper style head crush, which is pretty fun, pretty brutal. Yeah, so you know, actually he doesn't crush his head though. He gouges his eyes, and it looked like he was crushing his head. But then you see the guy's head, and it's like fine. So I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood what I was seeing. But anyway, the gore was top notch. And Michael is back in decorating form, where he likes to kill people and then leave their bodies displayed in almost artistic ways. So if that's what you're here for, if you're kind of a gore hound, I should have said bloodhound. Shit. If that's what you're here for, you're going to get plenty of that, and you're going to be very satisfied with the film. Additionally, this film cuts back to the original night of the babysitter murders a lot. And it gives a lot of scenes in the original Myers house, as well as the Myers house in the modern day, which is also fun. It gives a lot of backstory on the night that Michael really made his move, when he escaped and he killed Laurie Strode's friends and all that. And this film spends a decent amount of time back there. And I gotta say, one thing I noticed watching the film was, firstly, getting to see OG Michael again with the clean white mask, getting to see him without the, you know, it was so decayed in 2018, and it's burnt to a crisp in this one. So to see him with that mask that is just starkly white, it's actually, there's something about the white mask that is so scary. There's something about it that just really is unsettling to look at. So I really enjoyed the scenes that were set back in the, what was it, 1978, I think was when he first started killing. Also, there's a deep fake of Loomis, and you know, deep fakes are kind of hit or miss, and I'm sure some people are out there already saying, oh, Uncanny Valley, it's uncanny. I'm sure, but it looked good to me, and getting to see Donald Pleasence was gosh, it was really, really fun. And, you know, may his soul rest in peace. What an actor. And he really is just as much a reason these films succeeded as anybody else. So great to see him again. And usually, I'm not one to pop just for nostalgia. But you know what? in a film where not a lot was going on, and we'll talk about that later, believe me, you know, getting backstory on how Michael was caught, how he wasn't killed, all of that, it really is nice. It's kind of fun getting to see the cops drive around telling people, hey, go inside, there's a guy, he's murdered 3 babysitters, he is at large. You know, that's scary. That's scary to think about. This quiet suburban town, and there's a killer out there, and you have kids roaming the streets trying to get candy. You know, that really tapped into the invasive nature of the original film. Very, very creepy, very unsettling. I enjoyed that. I was really a fan of that scene. All of them that were said in the past, even if maybe, I don't know, were they a little self-indulgent maybe? Yeah, probably, but it was fine. It was fine. Moving to the present day, we're going to stick on the subject of Michael Myers because really, you could make a case that, you know, 2018 was kind of Laurie's film. This is Michael's film. This film is all about Michael, and they treat him like a superstar every second he's on screen, and Michael is as terrifying as he has ever been. This is the scariest Michael Myers we've had since the original. Probably scarier because in the original, you know, it's kind of he's treated as if he's man for most of it. Really, the first time that he's clearly different in a physical kind of way is at the very end when they shoot him, he falls off the thing, and then they look and he's gone, right? And again, we get the fallout to that in this film, which is super fun. In this one, Michael has decided that rather than be the ranger class, he is going to be the tank class, right? Rather than stalking from a distance like in the original, no, he's just going to go in and he is going to absolutely murder people in the face. And, you know, it leads to some great gore. It also leads to some issues, but this is a very scary Michael Myers. This Michael Myers is far more Jason Voorhees than he is Michael Myers, in my opinion. He is violent. He is fast. He's very fast, despite the fact that when we see him moving, he tends to be walking. Once he commits to an attack, it is violent. It is fast. There's little wasted motion. Very, very scary. Additionally, the scares are heightened by what is a solid score. So let's go in and give a plus to the score. John and Cody Carpenter did a great job on the 2018 one, and they did a great job here as well. There is no standout track like in 2018. The Shape haunts Allison, or whatever it was. Maybe it was Hunts. I can't really remember. But you know, that moment where Oscar has just been killed on the fence post, and Allison comes to see what's happened to her friend, and Michael turns the corner, and you get that amazing sound with the the bowstring over the electric guitar. Oh my gosh. Wow. Iconic. Nothing quite that good in this one, but it's Halloween. Just by relying on the OG score, you have plenty to go off of. Some fun remixes of the original score as well. So, you know, it didn't really offer anything that people are going to be talking about for a really long time. But I think the score was, I mean, reliably solid, right? Sometimes we don't give enough credit to things that are reliably solid. We move past it. We start to take it for granted. In this case, I did not take it for granted. I thought it was rather good. I was a big fan of it, so, you know, all things considered, pretty good. Pretty good there. Lastly, another positive I want to give the film that I hope other people can give some love and some respect to is in a film full of very forgettable characters, and that's going to be something we talk about in the negatives. A film very just stocked with characters I did not care about. I was a big fan of Kyle Richards' Lindsay, who at first it seems like she's just another crusader out to get Michael, right? But the compassion she shows, the we're gonna get into some minor spoilers here, okay? So this is getting a little more spoilery. She's in a car with the male nurse and the female doctor, and which is apparently played like, it almost feels like it's supposed to be a twist that, like, yeah, no, women can be doctors. I don't know. Maybe I took it wrong, but I almost felt like it was supposed to be like that's irrelevant. I don't know. That was weird. That if they were trying to play that up, it's like, yeah, no, it's current year, we know. But oh fuck, at least I entertained myself. They're in the car with the nurse and the doctor, as well as a kind of middle-aged woman who, gosh, I can't remember her name. Hold up, I have the let me open the cast list. She's here somewhere. Marion, Nancy Stevens as Marion. Okay, thank you for that. And then Lindsay's in the car. It's her car. Got one of those great like suburban mom cars. It costs like ridiculous amounts, despite, but that's neither here nor there. So Lindsay gets out of the car. She sees kids playing in a playground, and she gets out of the car. She goes to investigate, which, you know, in horror, that's the one that dies. But she does it, and, you know, it's kind of badass that she goes out there, and she has real concern for the kids because she knows Michael's out there. And that may have been my favorite scene in the movie, actually, just in terms of how creepy it was, because they say, yeah, this man in a white mask has been playing peekaboo with us. And, you know, that shit that a kid would say, they don't know. That's one thing that is emphasized throughout this film, is that this town has tried to forget Michael. They have tried to forget. So, of course, kids don't know who he is, right? Of course they don't know who the boogeyman is. So really good. As soon as they say the man in the white mask has been playing peekaboo with us, you just instantly have, your gut, just that feeling, right? It just, your heart drops. You know Lindsay's about to die. It's terrifying. But what actually ends up happening is Michael shows up at her car, and he murderfies the Marion and the doctor and the nurse, and the doctor dies like an absolute idiot. She says, oh, I know how to use a gun, and ends up blowing her own head off. It's just the dumbest shit. Also, before she had blown her own head off on accident, she clearly had never held a gun before. It was not good. In fact, it's not worth its own negative, but I'm just gonna say nobody in this film knows how to fire a gun. And I'm not like a gun nut, right? I'm not. But if you had to count how many shots missed as opposed to hit, it's insane. It's like nobody here has ever held a firearm. And this is in America, so I don't believe that. And this is kind of like rural, I think, Illinois, right? It's Haddonfield, Illinois. So no, I don't believe that nobody here knows how to shoot. I'm not going to go into it on its own, like, full negative. We'll touch on it a little bit in another one. But anyway, back to the thing. Lindsay, while she's out at the place, she sends the kids away. Run, you know, be free, which is very heroic and, you know, makes her character look good. She has this really cool moment. The kids drop their trick-or-treating bags as they run away. She takes one of them, pours the candy out, and stuffs that son of a bitch full of bricks and beats the shit out of Michael. It is the only time in the film, save for one towards the end, where he is really made to look vulnerable at all. And yeah, he mostly shrugs it off because Michael's got to look strong. But I was really impressed that they gave these survival skills to this character. And then, this is kind of the last bit about Lindsay, but I thought this entire sequence was pretty solid. She runs and she hides in this like riverbank, and it's almost like the ring wraiths looking for the hobbits in Lord of the Rings. You know, when he's looking over the thing, and it's like, oh, is he gonna hear the hobbits? And they're right down below. It's something very similar scene there where Lindsay is hiding just out of Michael's sight, and I'm watching that. I'm like, he's gonna find her, because especially 2018 in this one, Michael always comes out on top. He always looks good. He always wins. And then it is a little confusing because later they find her with like blood in her mouth and all that, but does that mean he found her? Because Michael double taps. There's no way you would survive if he found you. I don't know, but little thing there, but it was actually a pretty tense scene. It was probably the only time in the film I recall like feeling like my heartbeat was kind of speeding up a little bit. I watched through most of it kind of like a zombie. But yeah, it was good, and I did watch it in a theater, by the way. I want to clarify that I was in a theater, so it was like a proper movie going experience. But yeah, I thought Lindsay was a fun character in a film that was pretty devoid of fun characters. So I wish we could have seen more of her, but spoiler, she survives. So I'm really hoping that we see more of her in 2022's Halloween Ends. Now, let's get into the negatives, and we're going to try to go through these kind of quickly because there are a lot of negatives, and I don't want to keep you here for an hour, right? So Michael is booked extremely strong here, and I say booked extremely strong here. I grew up a big fan of wrestling, and in wrestling, you have this issue, right, where if you make the same guy win too many times in a row, and he looks too good, he's too strong, it starts to hurt everybody. Because at this point, I'm struggling to think, how are they realistically going to defeat Michael without maybe a nuclear bomb? And honestly, I sincerely doubt that that would kill him at this point. They have made Michael, you know, there was always that question, is he mortal, is he not? He's not mortal here. Clearly, he is not mortal. He is indestructible. He is basically all powerful. I mean, this guy, you can knock him down for a few seconds, but he's going to get back up. It does not matter what you do. And you know, that's the other thing though, is everybody's a freaking idiot in this film about how to kill him. I mean, oh my gosh, watching this, it was the most frustrating thing. It was the most frustrating thing. So a big thing they did in this one was they brought back the character of Tommy Doyle, who was the boy that Laurie protected in the first film. Great idea. Love it. 2 thumbs up. That's good. And he's a full-grown man now. Great. Love it. And he hates Michael. Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? And he leads this mob to try to kill Michael. But when they have their big gotcha moment, which is apparently Karen's catchphrase because she said it twice now, in like once in each film. It was much more satisfying in the first one. When they have their big gotcha moment, they're coming at Michael with baseball bats and wooden planks. It's ridiculous. You've seen what this guy has shrugged off, and you're gonna come at him with a baseball bat? That's how you're gonna try to kill Michael freaking Myers? The dumbest thing I've ever seen. The dumbest thing. The only characters with any common sense in that front would be Allison and her whole posse. They show up with guns. I mean, and look, realistically, is a gun gonna do anything? No, apparently not. But it's gonna do more than a 2x4. Hacksaw Jim Duggan's here, you know, hey-oh. No, it was just the dumbest thing. And we're actually supposed to believe that this is some win over Michael because he gets hit in the head with a baseball bat. And then Judy Greer's character, Karen, she comes to put him down once and for all. What's she do? She stabs him in the upper part of his back. That's her big finale. We stabbed him in the upper part of his back. Not in the head. We didn't slice his throat. We didn't cut his head off. We just stabbed him in the upper part of his back. He's good. He's good. That'll kill him. And then they want us to be surprised that he gets back up and he murders the whole mob. Like, oh, big spoiler there. Wow, so sorry. Yeah, I guess we're in spoiler territory. I guess we're... Wow, yeah. So yeah, the mob dies. All of them. And Tommy Doyle dying wasn't even sad for reasons we'll get into in a minute. But, oh my goodness. I guess, yeah, we'll get into it now, right? So this is an old trope that has plagued slasher films for a really long time, right? Nobody I cared about died. Well, almost nobody. So again, big spoilers here, right? Let's go on and talk about Big John and Little John. They got a lot of screen time here. They were this funny gay couple that were in the Myers home. And, you know, firstly, I will say their relationship was kind of endearing, right? Like, it was nice that it was played up to be that they complimented each other well, and that there was clearly love there. And, you know, that was nice to see in a film that was otherwise really just devoid of joy, really devoid of heart. And I think that's why a lot of people are going to walk away liking Big John and Little John. But, you know, I wasn't really invested in their almost B story because it kept cutting back to their house. Oh, it's the Myers house. You know he's going to come back home. And yeah, I did know he was going to come back home because, I mean, I guess the film was pretty clear about that. But, you know, at the end of the day, what can I tell you about Big John and Little John? They were funny. They were gay. Little John was dressed like a pirate. Oh, and Big John was a stoner. Okay, great. I mean, like, at the end of the day, they were funny, sure, but did I really care about them? No, not really. And then you have the nurse and doctor I mentioned earlier, and they seemed like they had some potential. Like, they almost seemed like they were being groomed to be, if not the main characters, you know, like secondary main characters. But they are dead well before you have time to start caring about them. And again, the doctor, she dies in such a dumb way that I just didn't care. I did not care. Oh gosh, you couldn't attach to him. There just wasn't enough time. Even if there was a great moment, like very funny, got the whole theater to laugh. Oh, he's in the car, go check it out. Hell no. Which is the right reaction. That's the right reaction. Michael Myers is in my car? Yeah, let me go check it out. Let me go. I'll be the guy to stop him. So at least, you know, there's always the joke that like in horror movies, the reason it's always white people is because white people are gonna like be the idiots who go check it out. So they were kind of playing up to that, I think, with the black character being like, hell no, I'm not going around, I'm not going in that car and dying. Are you stupid? That was a fun moment. I thought that was actually pretty well done. You know, good little moment of humor. They do try to humanize Cameron, the boyfriend from the first film. He was pretty dickish in Halloween 2018, but you know, in the reference to humanize him, in this film he basically spends the whole runtime being either pissed off, scared, or dead, and so I don't know that that works super well. Though they do show that he cares for his father despite his father's flawed nature. He shows compassion when he finds what's his name, Hawkins, who got stabbed in the neck by Sartain. And then he has a sweet moment with Allison in the hospital. So as far as redeeming a dickhead character, I've seen worse, but I've also seen a lot better. So I struggle to say I cared too much when he died, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll say we halfway care about Cameron, right? We'll say we halfway, because mainly like the hospital scene where he's there for Allison, you know, like that's good. That's nice. I would say the only two films I really felt, though, the only ones that were kind of played to be sad would be the escaped mental patient that jumps to his death, and then Judy Greer's Karen. Yeah, I don't know. Even then, I like Karen, and I love Judy Greer, so like I have a heavy bias there. But even with all that, the movie doesn't play Michael killing Karen as, oh no, Karen's dead. They play it more as like, LMAO, Michael does it again. You thought you could beat him, you stupid. You thought you could beat Michael, stupid. You're not on the cover, stupid. Michael's on the cover, stupid. Gosh, Michael is really, it's like the 2000s and 2010s, like John Cena. Like, this dude just does not lose. This dude does not lose. And then let's talk about the mental patient, because, okay, so they have this whole scene where there's a mental patient and he's wandering around Haddonfield, and people keep mistaking him for Michael because they see that he's in the what was it, Smith's Grove, or whatever the insane asylum was that he escaped from. And he's very scared, and he ends up at the hospital, and the hospital gets this mob mentality thing started. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. And everybody's all rah-rah fired up about it, and they, it's definitely the most uncomfortable film in the scene, because it shows how mob mentality, and, you know, when the public decides somebody needs to go, they are a sinner and they need to go. You know, you kind of think of like cancel culture and shit like that, right? Yeah, no, you misfire a lot with that, because mob mentality acts very quickly, and it leaves little room for due process, right? So very uncomfortable scene, and intentionally uncomfortable, so pretty good for a horror film, right? But it didn't really mean anything. So basically, what did the film accomplish? Because it got a lot of screen time, but all it really served to do was kill off a nameless mental patient and make me dislike Tommy Doyle, who I was pulling for before that. You know, I liked it. Okay, he's going around, he's trying to rally some people to hunt down Michael. Yeah, sure, okay. And I get his anger, I get his fear. But oh, this scene was so stupid. Everybody thinks this mental patient, who, look, I'm not trying to roast the guy on his appearance, right? He is overweight, and he's pretty short. Michael is extremely tall and built like some Greek Adonis. Like, this guy looks nothing like Michael, but they all get convinced that they see him. That's Michael. And basically the guy jumps off, kills himself, because he's afraid of what the mob will do to him, which is actually probably a good call. They were probably going to murder him very painfully. But it accomplishes nothing. This guy was not really a character. He had no name. He didn't really do anything to the plot. Again, he just made me dislike Tommy Doyle. He made me really think Haddonfield was full of some maybe not so great people. And they try to play it up. Oh, Michael's turning us all into monsters. Michael didn't do that shit. You did that. That was you. You're not being deep here. You're not being deep here. No. You're just saying it's a town full of assholes. Okay. Really, the only thing I could say the scene did was noticeably pad the runtime, and I feel like that's probably the most important thing it did. This film was it needed it. But moving on to another point, this film felt incredibly mean-spirited. We are not really meant to feel bad for Michael's victims. We're supposed to laugh at them for assuming they could stand up to the shape. How this tone strikes you is going to be a personal thing, but it really didn't work for me. The film felt heavily nihilistic for the most part, and that rarely makes for a good story. I think nihilism is just... yeah, nihilism bores me. Oh, nothing means anything. Well, okay. Okay, great. I don't view the world through those lenses, you know, and for a film to basically indulge in that for so much, it was just so boring. Because here's the thing, maybe you believe that in your personal life, but if you're trying to tell a story, leaning into nothing means anything is actually a pretty bad move. It's a pretty bad move. Because you have to make us care. You have to make us care about your story. So if you're basically enforcing nihilism, it's kind of like, well, okay, so you want us to believe that like nothing means anything, but also care about our characters. No, that doesn't work. The film just felt so hollow because of that. It's like, I don't know. It just, I don't even know if they wanted to say anything with the film. And I get it. It's a slasher film. It doesn't have to want to say anything. But that's kind of the point, right? Is like it feels to me like they were trying to make some point about the nature of evil, but what it was entirely lost on my smooth brain. So maybe they're way smarter than me. Maybe that's the thing. Lastly, I'm just gonna go and give the biggest complaint about this film. I mean, the biggest issue with this film. It is the middle entry in a trilogy, and it felt like it in every way. Rather than reach for the heights of The Two Towers or The Empire Strikes Back, this film was content to piddle in place without much of anything happening. It was a trailer for 2022's Halloween Ends, and that's extremely disappointing. I mean, realistically, if you've seen the film, ask yourself, what happened in this film? Because you can say, oh, Michael escaped the burning house. We knew he was going to do that. Next. Next. Karen died. Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know. We thought not Hawkins, is that his name? Yeah, we thought Hackett? I don't know. I think that's Mass Effect. We thought the police officer that Sartain attack died. He didn't, so maybe Karen makes it through. I hope she does. I think there's more to her character. Like, she was raised to be this hyper survivor, and then she gets jumped by Michael because she's apparently an idiot. Or maybe he's a god. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. But this film had nothing happen. This film was all about just really stacking meaningless violence on itself. And, you know, some people are going to love that. They're going to be like, oh, that's what I want out of my slashers. Great. If that's what you want, then you're going to love this film. And you're not going to be wrong for loving this film, right? Everybody can feel about it how they will. For me personally, it was not great. I did not really love it. It was just, this was no T2. Hell, this wasn't even Predator 2, which was kind of stupid but fun, you know? This one was just a dark film that wants you to feel bad, but also wants you to be like, ah, yes, gore! And I love gore. I really love gore. This film just didn't hit it for me. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. No, actually, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because the gore was great. There were moments that weren't entirely terrible, but for the most part, wow, they punted on this one. They said, we'll get them next drive. They punted on this, and it's pretty disappointing. But have you seen Halloween Kills? And if so, how did you feel about it? Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. What were some highlights or lowlights from the film that maybe I didn't cover, or that maybe you'd like to go into more detail on? This has been my review of Halloween Kills. I don't really do film reviews on the channel, but I did it for this. I'll do it for Scream 5. You know, just give my opinions on it because I do love horror. So this one didn't really hit for me, but if it did for you, let me know why. I'm genuinely interested to hear. But that's going to do it for me. Until next time, friends. Bye.